thank you, Birgit, for sharing this story with us here today. Birgit took a very serious subject and made it into a humorous speech. And I think that all of us in the audience were both amazed by the news of her speech, but also the way she handled it. This manual says to leave them with a smile, and it's about starting with a humorous story and ending with a humorous story. And in fact, Birgit weaved humorous stories, I think, throughout the speech. I think the starting story was about the looking in the mirror and you don't have a bad nose day, you only have a bad hair day. So that was kind of a lighthearted joke, introduction to the subject. And then you moved quite quickly into, I think, what was the serious part of the speech, which was saying they got it all. And then slowly introducing us and making us all realize that what you're talking about breast cancer and what you went through there. So you made that serious comment and then you moved right back into the humor. You taught us about the humorous things that happened to you as you went through this. And there were a lot of good giggles and laughs kind of throughout the speech. I think the funniest stories were the ones that were kind of the self-deprecating humor, which is typically the case with humorous stories, but you were talking about a subject that the fact that you gave us permission to laugh at those stories was actually, I think, amazing. I think the funniest stories were about, you know, the wig slipping in the meeting, and the guy not knowing, or maybe he was just being nice. And what was the other one was similar to that, about dropping off the hair at the hairdresser. And you know, you have to drop off your hair. And so I think those stories that are crazy things to have to deal with, you gave us permission to laugh and made it funny. The manual talks about pauses and before punchlines, the punch words, and the ending, so I was trying to pay attention to some of the pauses. And I did notice that the longer pauses got the biggest laughs. There were a couple, the long ones where you said the dropping off the hair was a big one. When you paid $1,800 for it, you paused well with that one. And another, I think one of the longest laughs was, did you break up with someone? And we all sort of, because it took time to would break up and that's why you cut your hair. And so actually the fact that you paused let it sink in, but also gave us time to laugh. And another one was when you said there are no pictures. You paused to actually let us realize what that meant. You had no pictures and you explained why, because you didn't want to see them and so on. And that pause let us think and also let us laugh. This speech had a lot of message to it, and I happen to know that the attitude of this speech is how you took this whole ordeal, the crazy things that you went through, you handled them in this way, focusing on the positive, not focusing on the negative, not focusing on what it could mean, but really focusing on the lighthearted moments and the positive moments, celebrating every success, every different session with a bottle of wine with your friends. So I just want to say that it's amazing for you to take this subject and turn it into a humorous speech. I think all of us enjoyed it, and I think that's where I'm going to leave it today. Thank you, Birgit.
All right, now let's open it up for evaluations from our audience. Who's going to go first?